Battle of the Challenges with Vincent Cloud.
DJ Matty Nice.
So let's go into episode 2.
The hookups are starting to form up. You got Zach and Jenna. Nothing shook out about the episode. I liked it. Things aren't solidifying yet where it's coming down to politics quite yet. That's what I enjoy the most. I like the challenges, but I really get into that politicking and how the people interact with each other and the mind games.
Basically what made Fresh Meat 2 great. It was all political. It was the most Game of Thrones any of the challenges has ever been.
Yeah.
That was Fresh Meat 2. And speaking of Fresh Meat 2, that's where Wes was like, he was just fucking cutting down his own team and shit, just trying to survive. But that's why you like him. He's more of a political, you're just like, what is he going to do? What angle is he playing?
A worthy adversary.
To Bananas.
To Banana.
I guess we'll just go through this other challenge. It's called Rounding the Bases. When the challenge started, Zach and Jen are flirting. And then Jay is like, hey, John A., like, you look at that? We should flirt. I don't know. I don't really get into the interpersonal relationships in the house unless
I'm going to touch on Jay for a second. I mean, I heard some people, like, a lot of people didn't like him coming in. He doesn't really run a mouth or anything like that.
Yeah.
And he's short and small, and yet he's reportedly nailed some really hot chicks on the challenges. Jessica? Good for him.
For the listeners at home, when Matt describes Jay, I'm like, you're describing yourself, man. You're not like the biggest guy, but you've gotten with chicks. So why do you find that hard to believe about Jay?
It's inexplicable when it happens to me. I don't know. I feel like when I was with say my ex-fiance, people would look at me and look at her and they're like, what the fuck are you doing with him? It could be my awesome personality. And it sounds like he really screwed Jenna over like quite a bit from their season, from just the edited what we see. And again, I haven't seen it, but
that poor dim light bulb in her head.
Who's the president of Wyoming?
Wyoming. No, remember, there's 50 states, there's 50 presidents.
Yeah.
All right, so rounding the bases. This one was a little bit more goofier. It reminded me of Rivals 2, the Triple X games, which seem way more appropriate for this one than that one. You got the 4 bases, everyone's going at once. The last 3 teams are out of it and can't proceed to the next base. And the very last team from the very first base, is automatically in the dome. So this one is the suck and blow one. You got like poles in the middle of first base. You have the napkin. You got to suck that in, and you got to transfer the other person.
Teams that were terrible at this.
The last 3 were Thomas and Haley, Knight and Jemmy, and the worst out of all of them was Johnny and Avery.
They were terrible.
Oh my god! But again, like you look at them, and Avery's like hot, beautiful chick, and she's steaming. She's like, she doesn't want to talk.
Johnny let her down. She said it. He said it.
I mean, I could only say, like, yeah, they did, bad or good, but I don't know. I don't like the emotional attachment that this challenge has, because personally I'm coming from a sort of a breakup of my own. I haven't talked to who in about 3 months.
Really?
Yeah. It's been something else. So now I'm just kind of feeling that a little bit. I'm like, whatever. So those are the last 3, but Johnny and Avery, they get last. They're going straight to the dome. But I like the order in which these people finished in first base. John, Jay, and Simone, they finished first. Good for them.
Yeah.
CT and Diem, second place. Bananas and Nani, Jordan and Sarah, Wes, Teresa, Zach, John A., Leroy, Naya, Jay and Jenna, and then at the very last second, Adam and Brittany. So good for them. They get to second base. You gotta grab the baseballs in front of the chick like they were titties, and then she's gotta fucking crank your baseball bat out of the socket.
Mm-hmm.
First out of that was Adam and Brittany. They did really good on that one. Basically, what I'm trying to get at is that these rookies are way better than I figured.
They've been doing well.
They're doing good. Yep. Next was CT and Diem, Bananas and Nani, John J. or JJ and Simone, Wes, Teresa, and at the very last second, Jay and Jenna. So that eliminated Jordan. How do you feel about that?
I'm not a big Jordan supporter, but I thought he did well considering one hand. He did better than the other teams that also lost in it. So
I don't know. It's odd because like he's usually like, it doesn't matter. Like, give me anything and I'll do it. It doesn't matter if I have one hand or whatever. But this one, he really kind of made a point of like, hey, this isn't fair.
And he really was at a disadvantage. But you go in the challenges, you gotta know what you're gonna expect. Sometime you're gonna have to do stuff like that.
So with that being said, what is Leroy and Zach's excuse?
Muscle bound. Maybe they can't move their hands as fast.
God, that Leroy. You know what? I want to get back on the We Like Leroy train so bad because I really did. I really loved that he was on Rivals 1. I was like, oh, it's such a new guy to be on. He's so real and casual and cool. But his performances, that's what I can't get behind.
You just don't know if he's taking the game seriously. I don't know if he is. I think he does enough to get by as long as he can. Does he really want to win? That's his problem, Does he really have it?
I don't know. But holy shit, his fucking partner Naya, she wants his dick so bad, man. Like she worships that guy. Have you ever noticed that? Every single time he says something, she's always like laughing and holding him, and like Naya is like his number one fan, and that could be a really good thing. She might go above and beyond just for Leroy. So good for him, man. She's like all of us fans from Rivals 1 personified into this chick who will forever emphasize the relationship through blowjob.
Yeah.
John A finished first. Zach was left with one baseball left. Third base, you gotta lick that peanut butter off the screen.
Yep, and get
the numbers. Coming in first, CT and DM, then Bananas and Nani, then Wes and Teresa, and then the last three who are eliminated is John, Jay, and Simone, Jay and Jenna. And Jenna, she started to throw up, and someone made a crack about her having mild problems. And then Adam and Brittany, look at that. The six in third base were three well-established vets. They never get more veteran than these three guys.
Yeah, pretty much. Yep.
And then you have these three rookies: Johnny, Jay, and Simone, Jay and Jenna, Adam and Brittany. I mean, I feel like that says something. I mean, who knows? So you go into the fourth base, and that's when you got to take these 30-foot long black tubes, and the female has the slightly wider one, and the guy has the smaller, thinner one to go inside the black tube of the woman's. This was kind of awkward looking, but you gotta just balance, have a little patience. Once you're in, fucking run it in. Now, this was, according to Simone Kelly, I think that's her name, from AfterBuzz podcast, she was like, they literally had to go back and watch the video, like, by a split second to see who did win between Wes and Bananas. And Bananas got it by like that split second or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But Bananas wins. Was this par for the course? Where you're just
I think it's pretty par. The first two episodes, you got two established veteran teams winning both the challenges. I mean, there's a reason these three guys are and DM.
Like CT and DM. I mean, they got in the top three both episodes.
Yeah.
Wes and Teresa, top three. Bananas, he's finally back in the top three and he wins.
It'd have been a shocker if a rookie starts pulling these out until they start getting up a hang for these courses. It wasn't surprising to see the top three teams because they are good at these things. I mean, they've always been good at them.
Especially these three. I mean, these three are like the trifecta of like what the challenge is. Like these are the Macho Man, the Hulk Hogan, and the Ultimate Warrior. It's not WrestleMania without these three guys. And we got them back, and no wonder they're in the top three. Like, who were you rooting for? I'm guessing Bananas, or do you want CT or Wes to win the second
this
time?
This season, I'd go for any of them. I do like Wes in a way. I don't like it that he's antagonistic with, my favorite player. But I do respect his game sometimes, most of the time.
That's the thing, man. That's the thing. It's like, I would love Bananas so much more, but Bananas is responsible for getting rid of Wes. And I'm like, you fucking took him off this show, man. Like, what the fuck? I'm going to watch you? To me, Bananas is entertaining in terms of how much of a threat he is. Like, just on this, like, you just know, streamlined, he's going to get to the final, and he's going to be someone you got to deal with. In fact, he's like, hey, can you beat Bananas? Like, that's the challenge now, right? Wes, on the other hand, like, he provides you with, hey, I'm going to try and do this, I'm going to try and do that. And he's human. He can get eliminated. So it's like, oh shit, what's going to happen? Watching Bananas and CT for the most part, it's like watching Superman and Batman. Maybe it's because Bananas is an egomaniac and so is Wes. But Bananas is like, hey, you know what? They always air Wes's lines. Everything he says, they put on the TV show. And maybe Bananas is like, no, like, fucking get out of here. Like, let me run the camera or something. And Bananas and Nani win. They're gonna have the power couple dinner right away. Nani's like, I want to put in Wes and Teresa. Did she not consider, even though Wes wanted to talk to Bananas and didn't put him in, like, don't you think that would be like, okay, well, we don't have to worry about him? But she was all uber emotional.
Emotional. And that's where he checked her and said, we can't be emotional yet. We got to play the game. We can't make the enemies early.
He brings in Wes and Teresa. But really, it was mostly
Teresa
Nani
and Nani going at it. And you could see Wes, at first he was, he was kind of cocky, he's typical Wes, but he was like, hey, we didn't throw you in and we don't want to start that war.
And he's like getting up, he's like, well, thanks for not throwing us in tomorrow. But I was like, I never said that.
Yeah. But he knew he probably wasn't going to, but then he saw his chances slimming down as Teresa and Nani got into it.
Because Teresa doesn't get up from the table, she sits there and
antagonizes Nani by
stating facts. She said, hey, Nani, you hooked up with this guy, and this guy. And Nani doesn't like it. To me, Nani is just too high-strung of a girl. She's way too emotional. She's too erratic. She likes to get drunk and get in stupid fights with Camilla for like 5 hours from free agents.
Yeah.
You know? Teresa, I don't like her execution, but I do appreciate that she does have strategy when she comes in. Mm-hmm. And that says a lot compared to every other chick. It was Fresh Meat 2. She shows up. This is her first challenge. She wants to try and hook up with either Kenny or Wes. Was that a coincidence? I doubt it. I highly doubt it. And then Cutthroat, she picks a fight with Camilla to try and get in her head. And sure, it doesn't work, but that was still strategy. Rivals, her and Camilla, now rivals, want to pretend that they're going to throw the mission so Laurel and Cara don't give a shit, and then they're going to just blast them out of the elimination. And then free agents, she was like, hey, everyone vote for Laurel. And then at the last second, I'm not going to vote for her. That's shitty, but that is strategy. That's a lot to say about a chick. I'm glad that she realizes that, yeah, I'm really bad at it, so I'm going to let Wes have the final say.
Yeah.
Nani and Teresa just crying their eyes out.
They were so good friends last season. That was the surprise.
Well, I mean, Nani, that's what she thought. Until she watched the challenge on TV.
Yeah. Those two get into the fight, and you could just see Wes going from his cocky demeanor to all of a sudden like, oh, fuck. Because now you have a team that you thought maybe you'd be okay, but now the guy and the girl legitimately hate both members on your team.
Yeah. This thing goes on forever. I mean, Nani's basically saying, like, why do you say that I'm sleeping with this person or that person? And Teresa's like, well, oh, this is great. Teresa's like, well, when a girl does the things that you do and she has no self-respect, and at first I thought Nani was going to explode on her. But you cut to Nani's confessional, and she's like, so what if I don't have any self-respect? In the end, though, out of nowhere, comes to Bananas and Nani, and they're like, we choose Thomas and Haley. I mean, they didn't even get camera time. They didn't even get, like, an interview or anything like that to state their case. But Bananas did say earlier, he's like, why don't we go after Wes's alliance? Not only is he going after Wes's alliance, but Bananas is playing the safe route. It's just rookies against rookies. I don't know, do you agree with his decision with Thomas and Haley?
Well, and who were they going to face? Who lost?
Johnny and Avery.
Which is another good team. I mean,
Very
I think an opportunity was lost to put a middle of the road team in and get rid of a middle of the road team.
Yeah.
But who are the middle of the road teams that you're not rocking any boats? Leroy and Nia, but they're physically, you don't want to piss them off right away because they have the chance at any time to win a mission because they do have that capability.
They are.
Plus, I feel like Leroy and Johnny are a little bit buddies.
Oh, Bananas and Leroy, yeah, they're friends.
You put in a strong team against Johnny, you piss off, you potentially look at pissing off that alliance over there with Johnny, Jordan, and Zach.
Because Bananas has to realize that there are a lot of rookies, but he also has to realize that there's the ZJJ alliance, as I want to coin. Hopefully this catches on. Zach, Jordan, and Johnny. Because, like, who else has his back? He kind of worked together with CT in Exes 1, but we know CT and DM aren't there.
It was the safest pick that he could have done. Just off the top of my head, trying to name any other team. He puts a strong team in against him, or one of their own alliance members. He risks pissing them off. And those are some strong teams that you don't want to be pissing off quite yet.
And he did say Wes has a lot of experience with elimination rounds, and he's never seen Johnny Riley in one.
Yeah.
So he was like, I don't want to risk that right now.
So I think putting one of the rookie teams in was a safe bet at this point.
I mean,
and when they talk about starting a war, look at those are the options. You piss off your CJJ alliance, right?
Mm.
Or ZJJ alliance?
Yeah.
JJZ, what did you call it?
ZJJ. I don't know. Could it be JZJ? I don't know.
The JZJ.
What's easier to say?
The JZJ sounds
JZJ?
So you put in one of those guys, you're putting friends against friends. They're not going to like that. You put in Wes and...
But if you put friends against friends, that takes one out of the ZJJ alliance.
But this early in the game, 2 episodes
in? Who cares, though? Oh my god, you brought up a very good point.
But look who the teams are. They are good teams. They're not slouch teams.
But still, man, it's like putting Bananas versus Evan, or Kenny versus Evan, or Kenny versus Bananas. You know, like one of those three, one of them are gone. I feel like Bananas might have missed out on a golden opportunity.
See, I don't think so, because if he does it, then what you got going on is potentially Zach and Johnny coming after you, Johnny and Avery coming after you, and from what I've seen from Avery, pretty impressive. Or Jordan and Sarah coming after you because of it. It's not like these are slouch teams that you won't lose against in a round. You know, I mean, any of those teams have the possibility of legitimately winning a challenge.
Maybe it'll come back to haunt him. I don't know.
But he likes Jordan. I think he likes Johnny too, though.
I think everyone likes Johnny.
I think he's. You know, I feel like he thinks he's like kind of a mentor to him because he's even earlier in one of the episodes he was giving him advice on things, and then in last year he was kind of saying, I really like you as a challenge competitor going on. He did the safe move. You know, there's going to be more eliminations. There's going to be more challenges. He doesn't want to ruffle feathers yet. You ruffle feathers early on, you got a target on your back. And there's a lot of teams that, you got to feel out and see how they're going to work together. If they're just lousy teams and they continually do bad, then yeah, you just got to feel it out.
Mm.
And people are going to hang themselves by doing dumb things in the house, turn other teams against them, and then it's the thing to do is to put that team in.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's why getting Nani or Wes getting Teresa, not to piss off people in the house is a big thing. Because then you get that target on your back.
Yeah.
Because when it comes down to it, when it comes down to friends, look at how every other one has played out. When it comes down to friends and there's voting involved, what do? They scapegoat a team for something dumb that they did in the house.
Thomas and Haley, I mean, all of a sudden it was out of nowhere. They're like, hey, these rookies or whatever. And now Johnny Riley and Avery are going to the dome, right? CT's helping them. Johnny Riley getting psyched up. They're doing some what do they call shadow boxing? Yeah. And then it all goes extremely sad and depressing. Teresa's like, "Hey CT, DM's not feeling very well. She wants you over by her side." And to me, I was like, "Oh my god, this is just so sad." I mean, I kind of glossed over her reasoning for DM's reasoning to be in the challenge and to want to win the money. When the second time she had ovarian cancer, they had to take out all her ovaries. So now she can't have any kids. So now a surrogate costs like, I don't know, $30,000, something like that. So she's like, winning this would allow me to start a family and shit. I'm so horrible talking about it. In fact, I might just edit this out. It was some of the saddest stuff I've ever fucking heard.
Well, yeah, because they don't know what's going on at that time, and what we do as viewers. I would think that most people know.
You're hearing her talk about her future and her dreams and stuff. And then, so now in the second episode, CT's called over there because she's not feeling good. I mean, she had a stomach ache. Her stomach was bothering her. And it might have been from that peanut butter, licking the peanut butter or whatever.
Well, that's what they thought, yeah.
Oh, but shit, man. It was horrible. She's like, I don't feel good. It's been all fucking day. She's already annoyed that she's in this much pain and stuff. CT is being supportive. It's like, hey, I'm going to freeze this thing. What do you want me to do? Maybe sit out this elimination, just rest up. And God, it was just like, I don't know. It's going to be bothersome, especially when episode 3 rolls up. I think that's when it happens.
Yeah.
God damn it. But she's like, hey, just go to the elimination without me. And all right, so the dome shows up. Describe the dome, Matt. How do you feel that this is
a rehash?
It's a rehash. Yeah, rehash.
It's almost the same exact game. They're usually pretty inventive of coming up with new things, so I hope it's not a lot of the same eliminations.
This one in particular, I didn't like back then. There was the one where you stepped on the cross.
I like the physical brawling.
Yeah, the wrestling, the Exo.
That would have been the good one to bring.
Thomas versus Johnny and Haley versus. Oh, that would have been awesome. They should have did that.
Avery would have destroyed it.
Missed opportunity. Dude, I have a really good feeling about those two, though. Even though they genuinely hate each other, I feel like they're going to be the CT and DM of like how they were in the first one, where like they were genuine exes, but they had to build through all this shit to get to the end. I feel like that's Johnny and Avery this season. Yeah. But they have to do the bandit together, where it's basically, it sucks. It comes down to the girls first. And I didn't care for it last time. Like, that's how Leroy got screwed. Him and his ex had to try and dig through the dirt, and she couldn't do it.
You're talking about Naomi?
Yeah, Leroy and Naomi versus whoever it was. Oh, Ty and...
Emily.
Yeah, Ty and Emily. So that's Emily versus Naomi. And Leroy...
No contest.
All Leroy did last Exes was sit there and try and cheer her on. And that's all Thomas could do. Like, didn't the producers realize, like, it sucked? Avery versus Haley. And Avery, she's, again, she's this cute little Spitfire or something. I don't want to use Spitfire because I never use that word to describe anyone. But that's the closest I could imagine describing this chick. But she digs through it. She gets to the sawhorse first. And now it's up to Johnny Riley, to climb up there. Thomas, he just sits there the whole time. It sucks, man. And it's horrible how bad the relationship is. Whereas right there, he's trying to climb up and he's like, hey, Avery, can I touch your leg?
Yeah, that's a telling point about how much disdain they have.
It was. Before that, Avery's like cheering him on. She's like, come on, baby, like that. In her confessional, she makes it clear. She's like, I'm saying baby as in like, any sporting event. Come on, baby.
There were some comments made when they went back.
Oh, yeah.
Did I hear a baby?
Yeah, bananas. Fucking just poking at everyone. That's great. But Johnny Riley, he's like, when she says, come on, baby, I'm like grossed out. It disgusts me.
Because he claims that she cheated on him.
And she claims there was multiple situations where it seemed bad. I'm like, multiple? You hear that? She said that.
Yeah, I
remember.
She's like
multiple situations.
That's why I'm on Team Johnny. Johnny Riley.
Last podcast, we kind of trashed Riley just for being just a dude. Really, it wasn't trashing him too much. For my competitors, I want a lot more. Obviously,
flair.
Obviously, because I like Wes, that's what I like. That's sort of like people doing shit in front of the camera, entertaining me. But when you play just a steady game, yeah, I kind of tend to overlook you. He won a lot and shit, so now I'm excited. Johnny and Avery, I think they might be top 3 teams. Are you?
If they can get over their animosity, I'd put top 5. Top 5.
Top 5 doesn't mean anything. That means they could be eliminated.
Well,
spoiler alert, Johnny and Avery win.
What?
They win the elimination.
Oh, I thought you meant...
They win.
I'm like,
Oh, I would never do that, man.
I'm trying to remain spoiler-free this year.
And for the viewers at home, like, I watched the trailer. I didn't really want to watch it because... If you're like me, and I feel like a lot of people are like this, you watch a trailer and already you could kind of put together how things are going to pan out.
For the first episode, before they even did the thing, they showed someone falling off. You could clearly see it was Nani.
Right, yeah, right. In the opening title sequence, we know that Naya is in an elimination round against... Oh, fuck. I don't even want to think about it because I almost made a connection now. I stay away from teasers, like even the coming up next week. I barely want to watch that.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to fucking.
Because they can show way too much.
Yeah. All right. So Thomas and Haley, they get eliminated from the dome. And
Exile.
Yeah, Exile. But
no. Exile.
It's only online. I don't know if anyone knows this, but there were some podcasters who didn't know that. They were just like, so Thomas and Haley are gone, and I guess we'll find out what happened to them, like mid-season maybe. I don't know. I'm like, you idiots! You call yourself fans? You got to go on the website and see what happens,
Yeah.
man. So we did that. We actually did that. We tuned in, and it was the first Exile of the season, and it was Dustin and Jessica versus Thomas and Haley.
Now, Dustin and Jessica, I wanted to point out, but I forgot to bring this up last night. They looked really chummy. Think about it. They're in this house together for probably, 2-3 days before the next team comes in.
Oh,
all by
you mean
themselves.
on their Exile, you mean? They
Yeah.
were chummy? Oh, fuck, of course.
You think something was going on?
I would want it to go on. I mean, if I was there, I'd be like, what else are we going to do? We have no missions to do. We have no domes to watch. We're basically sitting there for 2 days. We don't even have interviews to do. We only show up when the cameras show up and say, like, hey, these dome losers against you. That's the only time there's cameras. Although there is a few segments online where they'll just be holding a camera, like, selfie style. And Dustin's like, this is day one in Exile. It sucks. If I ever see Wes again, I'm gonna punch him in the face. Shit like that. And then Jess's thing is like, there's a fucking scorpion in here, but thank God Dustin took the scorpion and killed it. Damn well, as soon as she pressed the record button, to record it off, to put it on standby, they were banging, man.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
that's scorpion killing pussy right there, man.
Oh, I would be.
No, keep in mind, you're with your ex, though. You're gonna be banging. You're gonna be banging Jess at the Exile.
No. I already got one kid with that crazy psycho. And I'm not a woman-hating person over here, alright?
No one said you were, man. That's odd that you say that.
A crazy psycho.
Yeah.
I just meant with all our talk about how the men need to keep their women in line. Specifically, Johnny and Wes. Johnny Bananas and Wes. Because their 2 women are their liabilities right now. Emotional.
Zach and Johnny.
Yeah, but Johnny, she's
You
got
don't
a
think
bit
she
of a
cares?
political game. She's got a bit of a political game.
Oh, you mean? Well, I mean, she doesn't like what Zach's doing. I guess that's what I'm getting at. But do you think Johnny in the end is gonna support him? She did say she's his number 1 fan. So I don't know, man.
I think she still likes him, and I think she kissed Jay to make him jealous.
Yeah, made sure that he was within view, maybe, to see it.
Mm-hmm.
So we're at the first Exile, and it's called Sweaters. You described this as cheeky. Is that what you said? It was.
Cheeky, yeah.
Yeah, it was. It was. I was expecting something a little bit different. I was expecting, like, the running Exile from Fresh Meat. It was done so weird. It was, like, done in the daylight,
On the beach.
On the beach, and it looked like just a couple of guys with cameras, like, all right, well, you got to do this. It's going to take an hour. Whoever can fill up the cup full of sweat in an hour, or whoever can produce the most sweat in an hour wins. You basically run in place. I don't know, exercise, and you gotta use all these sponges and these.
Lap sweat off and
Yeah,
drip
lap
it into
sweat.
a bottle that you will be measured. Whoever gets the most sweat wins.
Yep, stays in Exile. You don't get to go back to the house. You have to stay in this little house.
And Dustin and Jessica were really getting into it, like getting each other's ball, or she got his balls. He got up into her.
They're totally
up into
fucking
her
hooking up
tatas.
in Exile.
I told you, man. That's the exact vibe I got. Because they were all chummy. Before they weren't the most chummy at first, and then, he talked about his gay porn and got an emotional thing, and then all of a sudden you see him in the Exile, and they're all like, we're all...
Dustin and Jessica win. Thomas and Haley are
Gone. Bye. See ya. Disappointing team.
Do you think, considering how these Exile eliminations are, knowing that there's going to be 8 more pairs coming through, what do you foresee? Do you think it's just
I think they could take out some of these other rookie teams when they inevitably come through, but when
not
they
the
start hitting the
veterans?
power hitters, they're going to be gone. Maybe I give them another 3 more Exiles before they're out, I'd say.
This whole sweating thing, it is still very challenge-esque. It's these odd things that you have to do. You've never been asked to do this. They got to ascend 8 more partners. I mean, that's insane.
Yeah.
No one's going to be able to do that. Going back to the ZJJ Alliance, let's see if I can go back. All right, so this is how I mapped it out. Basically into 4 quadrants. First is the Vets, which is Bananas and Nani, West Teresa, CT, and DM. Then there is the potentially the next JEK alliance, at least for this season.
The JZJ.
JZJ. Zach, Jordan, and Johnny. And then there's Knight in a way because everyone likes him. So maybe Knight is a comical Derek. You know what I mean? Like how Derek. No one ever seems to acknowledge Derek in the JEK.
But he was very much as part of it.
He was extremely part of it.
Because he realized he wanted to win. And he needed to get on board. And he was a good physical competitor, but he never had.
Derek might have been better than Bananas, too, physically.
Physically. I mean, he had just some amazing performances in his eliminations, and he was always a good competitor.
Yeah. I mean,
he was their silent partner. He was
He
didn't want to be like officially affiliated with him because he was the good guy. The guy that everybody is like, oh, this is a good guy, and they're the bad guys. They're the guys that everybody hates. Though he's not so secretly either.
Remember the island? He was like, I want to go in again because I want a pizza or some shit. In the confessions, like, I don't want a pizza. I'm working with Bananas. Yeah. We're going to try and get Abe out of here. There's not enough love for Derek in the JEK alliance. I feel like JEKD?
I mean, I've seen it referred to that, some people, but
really?
That's what it was. He's just as pivotal a part as any single one of them at any time when he was there with any of them.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not. The comparison between Derek and Knight is now moot. I mean, Knight's not the best. He's the best in terms of personality. Like he cracks me up no matter what he's doing. Like when he was saying like how he cheated on Jemmy a lot. I was like, oh my god. But I couldn't help but laugh. There's something about Knight that just fucking gets to me every single time. It might be because he's from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
You knew that?
Yeah.
So is Teresa.
I didn't know Teresa was.
So is Landon.
I didn't know Landon.
Yeah, we got some really good Wisconsin representatives. And so is Sean Duffy. I don't know if you know who he is.
No.
A U.S. representative for Wisconsin. And he won twice in the challenges. So Wisconsin represents pretty goddamn well, in my opinion, in terms of the challenge. It's pretty sweet.
Well, we're good at drinking. And we're pretty hardy mentally. We have to deal with negative 20-degree weather for 3 months out of the year.
Yeah, and being cold grows character. We all know this. So you have the Vets, I've already established. You have the JZJ Alliance, and then you have the Rookies. But Thomas and Haley are gone. Jay and Jenna are there. Jay and Jenna might have a better chance because Thor likes Jenna. And then you have Adam and Brittany, and then JJ and Simone. They only have numbers on their side. Although Jenna, JJ and Simone, Jay and Jenna.
I'm not high on JJ and Simone.
But they got really far in this last challenge, man. Like I said, there was 3 rookies and there was 3 veterans in that third base.
And if you wanted to base it up, I just don't have a good feeling about them as a team.
Yeah.
Jay and Jenna, I think, could be politically set with having Jenna hook up with Zach.
Yeah. That's the closest. And then in the end, it's wild card Leroy and Naya. They could be the next Kenny and Laurel if they wanted to be. I mean, actually, they have no choice. They're going to have to win a lot in order to stay out of the domes.
I really want to see the politics come in finally. They're shaping up a little bit here and there, but I want to see it.
Yep.
Hard to tell when the 2 teams that won are 2 teams that have the most animosity towards each other, and yet didn't make a blow yet.
I think it's because they know that they don't have a lot of supporters this time.
I think it could be. I think Wes lost a lot of his supporters, seasons ago.
But consider it though, Wes lost a lot of supporters because he's betrayed so many people. But Bananas has won so many challenges. Why would they want Bananas to win either?
Right. Yeah.
So we kind of called it. If they were to work together, which we know is never going to happen, they'd have a better shot. But who do you think is going to fire first? Or do you think eventually this JZJ is going to win and then take down those veterans?
Sarah, she kind of could float either way. I mean, she's in the veterans group, I think, too. But she's got Jordan.
She supports Bananas, but then Jordan doesn't support Bananas. He's like, fuck Bananas,
not at all.
Man.
If she can keep him under wraps, they could go pretty decently far.
When I say the JZJ alliance, I'm not saying these are the next, Bananas, Evan, and Kenny. I'm just saying
There's
they
just
have.
no clear ringleader. It doesn't.
Do you think they need one though?
Yeah, absolutely.
If Jordan wins, he's not going to put in Zach. He's not going to put in Johnny. If Zach wins, he's not going to put in Jordan or Johnny. If Johnny wins, he's not going to put in Jordan.
You have that alliance there.
Yeah, I think
But
that's established
where's
right
the
there.
scheming? If one of them does win, are we going to see one of them stepping up and saying, "This is a good move for us to do at this time"?
I feel like the power moves are going to be Leroy, putting in Leroy, or putting in Bananas, or putting in Wes. Yeah. That's what it comes down to. As much faith as Wes wanted to put in the rookies, as much as he wanted to inspire them to be like, hey, fucking do the rookie revolution. Come on, you fucking assholes, you fucking newbies. Already they're down Thomas and Haley. So already their chances are a little bit more slimmer.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to Bananas. If things were to pan out good, and they might, it might be the JZJ, all three of them, plus whoever makes it out of the Exile in the final.
I don't see it.
You don't think so, huh?
I just don't see the political play. I don't see any of them putting too. I mean, they might try a power move, but I just don't see it working out.
So you're thinking, if anything, we're just going to deal with a typical challenge where the rookies go first?
And but I've seen enough of most of them to know that, to say that, the brains of the operation, like Frank, if Frank were there and on a team,
he would be part of that alliance. He would be it would be the FZJ or some shit like that,
Sounds like a weird random sex.
How much is that FZJ job?
If you gotta ask, you can't afford it.
You can't afford it.
Evan, Kenny, and Johnny, they all were always going for strategy, and every single one of them were manipulators in their own right that had their. I mean, Evan, at first, but
I think Evan was the mastermind out of all the three.
But I'm not saying that. I mean, in the ruin, this is Johnny had a pretty good point about, hey, Susie's gonna weigh us down.
That's true, and Evan didn't seem to think that way, and she did weigh them down
right up until the last obstacle. But they had to carry her. And
Evan saw her as like, okay, she could be as smart at puzzles, but so am I.
But Johnny's reasoning was, is Susie gonna be better than
Sarah and Kellyanne?
And Kellyanne? No. I'm saying is they all had their own points. But they were all always thinking that way. They were always thinking, trying to get one step ahead of the competition, trying to get. I don't see these guys doing that. Who's the rookie team that's going to surprise us?
I almost want to say it might be Jay and Jenna.
I want to say that only because of Jenna hooking up with Zach.
I feel like Jay could. I mean, if he could do a political get in with the guys, he might. I mean, he was getting along with CT. You saw that.
Yeah.
Like I feel like Jay is just like he might be a guy's guy. I mean, like maybe not with Zach because obviously he's like, oh, you're small and I'm gonna fuck your girlfriend, But I don't know.
There's always a rookie team that comes in and surprises. That's the way I feel.
Yeah.
There's always a good rookie team that makes it far, and then everybody gets their hopes up, and then they turn into a jackass the next season. Everybody hates them. Like Evan in the duel did really good, and then he was kind of a jackass.
Yeah, Evan did really good in the duel.
But then he got vilified because of the alliance after that.
Oh, right. Yeah. No, Evan was great. Like, I mean, you could say the reason why Evan became what he became was because of Wes, man. Because, like, he came on Fresh Meat, right? And he was doing really good with Coral. But then he got injured. Duel 1 comes in, he's doing really well, and then he's like, well,
Wes manipulated him to take it at CT.
Yeah, I mean, like, he was probably going to try and challenge him anyways, but Wes certainly helped that decision. Wes is like, if you take out CT, I won't call you out. I'll call Brad and Derek. And he already took care of half of that. He already called out Derek and took him out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wes is like, that's the part of the deal. You take out CT, right? So Evan loses against CT. And when he's leaving, his last words are like, Wes, you did me wrong. You know you did. And now I know that I got to basically sell my soul to win one of these things. Yep. And that was so telling because after that was the alliance and shit. We can thank Wes for the birth of the evil Evans.
Yep.
Because after that, that's when Evan started to win. He won Duel 2 and he won Ruins, man.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much history between Wes and those guys.
Yeah.
You can see why they can't stand each other.
Oh, yeah. I love that. I love the fact that that's still going strong. I mean, Bananas is the last. We'll probably never see Evan and Kenny again. It's just Bananas. He's the last lone survivor.
Well, thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in and subscribe, man, because you will hear us next week. And I'm Vincent Cloud.
I'm DJ Matty Nice.
And keep it clean, kids.